Welcome back, everybody. I know it's been a while since I did just a fishing video, so I'm gonna go out here on one of my local lakes, just mess around. You know, the wind's blowing a little bit today, got a little bit of cloud coverage. Water temp's like 78 degrees. You know, a lot of these fish should be up shallow, so I think I'm gonna start by just flipping a jig around, just a black and blue pitching jig, and see what happens. You know, a lot of these fish are still chasing shad, but the fish that are up shallow, you know, they're brim feeders, you know, and crawdads and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna go around pitching a jig, and then might mix it in a little spinnerbait action. Depends on how this, you know, this wind holds up. So you guys stay tuned and follow along. Unloaded, let's go. Let's go on that jig. Literally crushed that jig. Look at that. Look where I got them. Pinned them right where you want them too. Decent one. I mean, that's that Luke Clausen pitching jig, black and blue. Let's get this fish back in there real fast. Just pitching up there shallow, and basically all these reeds up in here. He bent that hook out too. And look at that. Look at that hook. That hook is definitely bent out. Destroyed my trailer. But it just shows some of these fish are up here chasing shad, or out here chasing shad, and you know, and some of these fish are still up hitting brim, bluegill. Some of these fish are getting shallow. Some of them live shallow year round. And it just goes to show you, I pitched this jig up in there and lifted it once, fell down, second lift, and literally crushed it. So, I don't know, I'm basically throwing it on kind of a light rod. This is a 7.2 medium heavy. I use this normally when I'm out fishing in open water, you know, dragging it on hard spots like shell beds, any type of rock. You know, normally if I'm pitching a jig up in heavier cover, I'm going to be using like a 7.4, 7.5 heavy rod. But I may have to switch up my rod if they are this shallow and that thick stuff. But for right now, I'm going to hang in there with this 7.2 medium heavy, 17-pound test. P-line tactical fluorocarbon always drags them out. Don't ever gotta worry about it breaking. Just make sure that knot's, you know, good. You're retying when you're supposed to. So let's find some more. He destroyed this jig. Look at that. I mean, you can't ask for a better hook set. And that's where you want them too. Just keeps them pinned every time. That's what I'm talking about. Get this fish in the water. Alright, like I said, that bass I just caught was on, this is a Dirty Jigs, Luke Clausen. It's a pitching jig. It's one of my favorites, black and blue. But the trailer that I'm using is a Guggen. It's like a Guggen, I don't know exactly the name of it, but it's some type of crawl. And what I do is there's these lines on here. What I do is I cut that first one off. Kind of makes it more compact. And that way when I thread it on here, it's not too long. And then I just go straight up the bait, the hook. Let me just thread it on. Definitely line your hook up. I've done this so many times though that pretty much get it right the first time. And so therefore you have, it's not taken away from the jig, but you got these little crawls down here, just a flapping, which is gonna, draw that bite. Alright, so I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of bait. I literally have bait almost jumping in my boat. So I'm out here throwing a spinnerbait, but I think with all the bait in the water and my spinnerbait trying to compete with that, I just don't think it's gonna happen. So I think I'm gonna pick the jig back up and just finish. I'm just gonna finish flipping all that right there, and then we'll see what happens. All right, so stay tuned. I'm gonna pull the jig back out and go to work. All right, guys. So spinnerbait didn't work out, but the jig did. The jig caught me some fish. Like I said, just out here for a couple hours messing around, and as you can see, these fish are still up shallow, even though there's a bunch of bait in the water. The fish that are up shallow, I feel like, are eating brim, bluegill, shellcracker, whatever you want to call them. But go out, pitch you a jig, black and blue, green pumpkin, depending on what color your water is, and you're almost guaranteed to catch a fish. Just put it in your hand and stick with it. So I'm sure other baits will work. It's 3:30 in the afternoon, so some of these fish are probably pulled really tight in the cover, and I just wanted to get out here and make a quick video, show you guys what I've been throwing lately, and what's been getting me bites. So hey, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, leave me a comment, and until next time, tight lines.